Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Jason Deitch, and today we're here, of course, with Dr. Gerry Clum. Good to see you, Gerry.
Good to be here, my friend.
Dr. Gerry Clum, of course, is the executive director of the Rubicon Group, and today we'd like to spend a few minutes going over, you recently had the Rubicon Conference in Australia.
Melbourne,
Australia. I got great feedback. Those that attended said it was the best ever. It was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
For those that are new to all of this, let's start off first with what is the Rubicon Group?
Well, great. Rubicon Group is a collaboration of 7 chiropractic institutions from around the world, representing programs in the United Kingdom, McTimoney, in Spain, the Barcelona College of Chiropractic, in Germany, the Chiropractic Academy, a unit of the Dresden International University, and in North America, Sherman College of Chiropractic in Spartanburg, South Carolina, Life University in Atlanta, Life Chiropractic College West in San Francisco, and the 7th, the New Zealand College of Chiropractic in Auckland, New Zealand. These 7 institutions have come together in a process that began in 2012 to begin to look at what we could do together that we couldn't do individually. What were the issues that we would like to see advanced in the marketplace? What were the concerns that we would like to see addressed for the profession and for chiropractic education from our perspective? And we began a process that went on for about 4 years in quiet or in silence.
Stealth mode.
Well,
yeah.
Not quite stealth,
Okay.
but just we were not ready for prime time, and so we were working on ourselves and getting the understanding and the cooperation and the collaboration between and amongst the institutions worked out, and it took us a few years to get all the wrinkles smoothed out. And then March of 2016, we had our first conference in London. September 2016, we had a second in Geneva, Switzerland, and in April 2017, we had our third and most recent in Melbourne, Australia.
Absolutely outstanding. Yeah. The goal, of course, is to bring 7 international institutions together. What was the theme of this year's conference, and
the theme has been the same for all 3 of the conferences.
Okay.
The Rubicon has identified 4 areas of activity and interest. First is an emphasis on neovitalism in chiropractic. The second is an emphasis on a neurologically oriented perspective on subluxation. Third is an emphasis on chiropractic practiced without the use of drugs and surgery. And the fourth is the emphasis on lifestyle issues as it affects quality of life and quantity of life. And those 4 things, as a result, have shaped each of the 3 programs that we have, and for the foreseeable future will continue to shape the programs that we will have on into the future. We plan to have our next will be in 2018. We're thinking on the West Coast in the United States, probably late spring, early summer, something like that. But we've had a great experience in Melbourne. The venue that we had, I'm very excited about this venue, but if you can think back to the days of department stores where they were these grand things that people met you at the door in white gloves and they took care of your packages for you, and what our grandmothers might have experienced in Macy's or Gimbel's in New York. Elegance. And shopping wasn't a chore, it was a delight. And the facility where we had the conference in Melbourne was on the 6th floor of Australia's largest department store, which is called Myers. And you walk in and you walk out of the bedding department is on one side, the Tesla dealership is on the other side. You walk through these nondescript doors and all of a sudden you can go back 50 years into this magnificent Art Deco facility that was just jaw-dropping.
Wow. And
it was the coolest place I've ever been for any kind of a conference. And people that lived in Melbourne all their life, they said, we never knew this was here.
Wow.
And so it was great to introduce them to something unique in their own backyard. But more importantly, not so much the venue, but what happened in that venue that was quite stellar. And the program involved everybody from representatives of the institutions, Dr. Rieckman from Life University, Dr. Oberstein from Life West, Dr. Kundliff from McTimoney, Dr. Wenbaum from Barcelona, Dr. Kruger from Germany, and Dr. McMaster from New Zealand College, and then of course Dr. Neil Cohen represented Sherman College in that environment. And then we had Dr. Kelly Holt from the New Zealand Chiropractic Research Center, Dr. Hadi Havik, the director of the center, our dear friend Bruce Slipton, and our equally dear friend from New York, Dr. Scott Rosa, who's done such magnificent work with MRI in relationship to weight-bearing MRI in relationship to upper cervical care. And it was a great package. The thing that I'm most excited about is as the person who was responsible for managing it and organizing and so on, is that the post-conference surveys we just came back in, and we had almost a 50% response rate, and
Wow.
basically we had one person who was unhappy. And
There's always one.
and everybody else, gave us stellar remarks, and we had a 96% and change. Excellent to very good rating for the conference overall, and then obviously the sub-detail about the conference that you ask of those kind of things was follow that same pattern, and it was a tremendous success.
What were the takeaways? I mean, what did you generate or produce during that time that you're excited about?
Well, I think the profession in Australia has been through a rough time, and they've had a lot of challenges, and what our job was not to come in and show them how to overcome these problems or anything else, but just to remind them of what is working in the profession at this moment in time. Heidi and Kelly put on a tremendous presentation about the current research and what the implications of that are. Scott brought his information relative to upper cervical adjusting and the results they're seeing in that environment, particularly with the weight-bearing MRI work that he's done. And then Bruce laid out the epigenetic perspective on this and how our thinking, our behavior, and so on today is affecting what's going to happen tomorrow. It came together beautifully as a package to just remind the chiropractor, number one, they weren't alone.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, that there have been times where the profession in other parts of the world has gone through the similar kind of assaults, and that there was life after those assaults and things went well.
Was that one of the reasons you chose Australia specifically?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. They're beleaguered, quite frankly, and so being able to present that information in that fashion in a supportive and encouraging environment that addressed each of those four areas of emphasis, it fulfilled our mission as an organization, and it served a great need that they had in Australia. So I think everyone was very, very happy with it. We had a great experience in Australia, and we think the chiropractors that attended the program, I always think about the thing I look for is after an event is to linger.
Right.
And we couldn't get people out of the room.
That's a good sign.
It's Sunday afternoon, the time is up, you can go home, you're not getting any more continuing ed credit, so on, and they just wouldn't leave.
That's a good sign of good energy.
It was a great sign. It was a great sign, and it was, we wanted to help rebuild some of that sense of community in Australia, and we think we did that very well.
What impact do you think the conference and the group in general has on practicing chiropractors out there, and who are the type of people that should be attending next year?
Yeah, well, I think I harken back to the Disney movie, The Lion King, and when the father lion passed away, and he came back in a dream to his son, his advice was to remember who you are. And I think that was really, if there's one takeaway, it was remember who you are, remember what you can do, and remember you have a right and a need to serve people. And that was the message that I think the audience left with. And whether that audience was in London, or that audience was in Geneva, or that audience was in Melbourne, or that audience is on the west coast of the U.S., the message is going to be the same.
Yeah.
It's a universal message, it's a universal reminder, and it's something that it's non-threatening. We're not taking anything controversial. We're just reminding people the tremendously positive and helpful and hopeful things that happen under chiropractic care, and to take pride in them and to enjoy the excitement of it.
Well, and it's more than just a pep rally. I mean, you have some
absolutely.
of the world's greatest researchers and
Absolutely.
scientists validating why you should be so proud to be who you are.
There was very little pep rally to it.
Right.
The truth of the matter is there was a great deal of substance, and that's absolutely the moment that we're in, is the opportunity to marry enthusiasm with evidence and with scientific findings in a way that reinforces what we've said for 120 years.
Yeah.
And in that sense, it's a very exciting moment to see the messages that our forebears cobbled together just out of their experience, really proven to be quite on target in many, many ways.
It's remarkable that they knew then what we're sort of now catching up with scientifically.
They got a few things wrong along the way, but in the scheme of things, they got an awful lot right.
For those that may not know, how would you describe sort of the scientific validation of the day? What is being validated, and why should we be so excited about it?
Well, I think the work that Heidi Havok and her group in New Zealand are doing and have done for the last 15 years is really game-changing. They have put together a package that very methodically went about establishing the things that we said happened with an adjustment, and in fact, can we demonstrate that they do? And neurologically. And her most recent findings that spinal adjustments have a direct impact upon the frontal lobe and the executive functions of the individual is quite stunning. So we deal with people that see chiropractic as well. It's good for mechanical low back pain.
Right.
And now we have evidence to say, well, it may be good for mechanical low back pain, but in the process of addressing the mechanical low back pain and other problems in the spine, there's the potential that we can affect frontal lobe functions and executive capacities that for anybody who saw chiropractic as a musculoskeletal entity or a musculoskeletal process, they can forget that.
Yep.
This clearly establishes the neuro in that part of the world, and that information is tremendously exciting.
I think it's going to be a fascinating next phase as this research comes to light, and those that I guess self-identify as evidence-based to see if they were really limited musculoskeletal based that just chose to use the term evidence because there was some for that,
Right.
or whether they really are evidence-based and are willing to follow what the new evidence shows. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how that unfolds.
It is, and the other thing that's exciting about that evidence is that Heidi and her team have been smart enough to put their theories forward and bring them into the labs of other researchers that have nothing to do with the profession.
Interesting.
Don't have a clue
Real
about
research.
what we do. And then, what are their findings in response to our care, and so on, and having those repeatable findings established in labs that have nothing to do, no connection with us.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Pretty gratifying.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, very exciting.
That's fantastic. So next year's conference is going to be where, and who should be showing up?
The best I can tell you right now is the West Coast of the
Somewhere
United States.
in the West Coast of the U.S.?
And everybody has to come to the West Coast, so it's open to everybody.
Sounds good. And what time of year in 2018?
We're thinking early June or late June.
Okay.
We're going to stay away from graduation dates and Father's Day, and so we'll make it early in June or late in June. And it'll either be in the Northwest or down in Southern California, but
Outstanding.
we'll let everybody know. But
Outstanding.
chiropractic students, persons interested in a career in chiropractic, all would be welcome, and I think be very pleased with what they're going to find.
Well, I think on behalf of the profession, I have to say thank you for your leadership, the idea of bringing this new consortium together with an agenda to really, help chiropractic grow worldwide, based on the latest evidence and so on, is refreshing and required.
Well, I appreciate that, but I have to be honest and full disclosure here, that the idea and the genesis behind this rested with Dr. Rubicon, and he drew the group together in September of 2012, and it has taken on a life of its own from there. But I'm very thrilled to have been a part of it and participate with him and be the tender of the group.
Right on, right on. Well, thank you for the update.
Thank you, my friend.
You got it. Thank you for watching. Please, if you have questions about the Rubicon Group or the Rubicon Conference, you can leave them below. If you'd like to help spread the word and let other people know about it, please like, comment, and share this video with everyone you know. We'll be sharing more Rubicon group and conference updates as time goes on, so make sure you like this Rubicon Conference, Rubicon Group Facebook page, and let other people know about it as well.
It's a deal.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.